This video is brought to you by the EA Creator Network. Welcome to my channel and a special warm welcome if you're brand new here. My name is KiwiSimsKate, Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand, Sims because I love the Sims, and Kate because that's my name. So welcome everyone to another speed build today. I've brought you another family build. I really enjoy building this kind of suburban family style. It's kind of in my comfort zone, and recently I have been trying to do different types of builds, but every now and then I've got to default back to something I just really enjoy building because I love doing family gameplay, so I also love building for that. So feel free to grab it off the gallery if you've got a family that you think would be perfect for this home. I'll tell you a little bit of the overview and then we'll get into the details of the build. So this house, I used a Pinterest image to get the inspiration for the build. It's 2 stories. I built it in Newcrest, I believe, which is a base game world, and it has 3 bedrooms upstairs, plus it has a room that's sort of like a hobby room, so that could easily be turned into a 4th bedroom, and one of the bedrooms is furnished for 2 toddlers. So I finished it so that 1 or 2 parent sims, a teen sim, and 2 toddler sims could live here. But of course, you can always edit that to fit with whatever family you're playing with. The rest of the vibe of the house is pretty cozy, suburban family, very kind of cozy gameplay style. I used a mixture of packs as well, so yeah, it's not a restricted build, I'm afraid. There's quite a few different packs that I used here. But I love using this door that I use for the front door of the build, which we got with, I believe, Growing Together. And the house in general, I took it from a Pinterest reference image, but the vibe was, when I built it, was kind of to fit in with that Growing Together type gameplay that we got with the expansion pack, and I could see this build fitting quite well in the world that we got with that expansion pack, which was called, if I remember, San Sequoia. That's right, yeah. I also really wanted some pillars here outside the front door that worked well with the brick that I decided on for the ground floor. And we don't have any. We have some really nice pillars that we got with some other packs, but I wanted something that matched the vibe of this brick. So what I did instead was use some live edit objects to create a pillar, and that worked far better anyway, because the restriction with pillars in this game is that they only snap to the grid. So whereas you can do a lot of different things with like buy mode items, where if you've got move objects on, you can kind of place them anywhere you want. But with build objects, there are a lot more restrictions. So for example, walls, roofing, pillars, those kinds of things, there's not as much flexibility when it comes to building. So instead I thought I'm just going to scrap the idea of the normal pillars in the game and go with live edit objects instead. And luckily we had a perfectly, well, almost perfectly matching brick base, which is very similar to the brick that I used on the exterior of the house downstairs. So I was really happy with that. And then I take a little while to figure out the roofing. I think I might have cut out just a little bit of footage of me playing around with the roof shape. Because of the shape of upstairs, I ran into a few issues with kind of the roof clipping into the upstairs space. So I think I haven't included all of that footage in, just for time. I didn't want this build to be ridiculously long. But you kind of get the idea of what I ended up with anyway. I also built this on my Twitch channel. So I built it with my community live. I stream over on Twitch twice a week. We do a bunch of gameplay there. I've got a legacy family that we've been following for 10 generations now. We're up to the 10th generation. So I'll sometime this year probably be wrapping up with that and starting a different type of gameplay. And then I also build. We check out new packs and kits over there. We do giveaways. Yeah, we do a bunch of stuff. It's mostly Sims 4 content, but obviously recently we got the remastered Sims 1 and Sims 2 for PC. So I tried the Sims Legacy Collection, i.e. the Sims 1, for the first time ever the other day, and wow, it's so difficult compared to the Sims 4. It's yeah, it's definitely a vibe. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but it was challenging for sure. And the build mode was so difficult to get used to. But by the time I'd finished, so I built a house on stream in The Sims 1, and by the time I'd finished, I was really happy with it. So I will probably, I didn't record that one, so I'll probably build another one, record it, and put it up on my YouTube channel, because it was, once I got the hang of all of the kind of quick keys on the keyboard, and where everything was in the menu, it was much more enjoyable. But at the start I definitely was challenged, and I was getting quite frustrated. So now that I'm a bit more used to it, I might do a bit more building in The Sims 1 and record something for a speed build. But it is quite different, and the graphics are a little bit to get used to now that I'm used to The Sims 4. So yeah, don't worry, I'll still be definitely bringing out Sims 4 content, even though we've got Sims 1 and 2 now. Anyway, back to this build. As you can see, I'm fencing in the backyard. When I started this build, I really wanted to include the large tree house that we got with Growing Together. It's so big. It really, it's a challenge to fit it in a lot of backyards. So I placed it down first, and really focused on just making sure I had enough space for that, and then built the rest of the backyard around it. But because this house has bedrooms for some kids, including a room for a couple of toddlers, I really wanted the space out the back to have that sort of opportunity for your Sims to grow up as children and make the most of this backyard space. So there's the tree house. There's also a little picnic area that I placed down here underneath using quite a few items that we got with the some little creatures or something. Is it? I can't remember what it's called now. Outdoor creature. No, one of the earlier kits that we got, where we got this cute outdoor rug, and some other decorations for children. I've also got a seating area out here with an umbrella so your Sims don't get too hot in the sun, a barbecue, and I also place a little bit of landscaping out here as well before I move inside. Usually I leave my landscaping to last, but I was really inspired to start with the backyard here because I wanted to make sure I had enough space for this tree house, and I was quite confident that I had plenty of space on the interior for all the rooms. You would have seen me create the floor plan as well, so I had an idea of the floor plan, and so I didn't think it was too sort of troublesome to furnish after doing the landscaping. I was really confident that everything would fit. I often leave landscaping till the end because there's always a chance that, you know, you go to furnish a house and you need maybe more space than you thought you did. And then sometimes that means pulling the house out, making it bigger. And then if you've spent all this time doing your landscaping, it can be frustrating to have to redo everything, especially if there's stuff like terrain paint, which doesn't just shift easily. So that's generally how I like to build. But in this one, because I was working with a floor plan online, I was pretty confident I could fit everything. Another trick that I use sometimes if I just want to be sure that my house is big enough for what I'm planning is just chuck maybe one piece of furniture down or one item in each room to get a sense of the space. So usually with bedrooms, I might place a bed in each of them, and that gives me a sense of how much space the sim will have to walk around it. Because another thing I like to try and do in my builds that I post here is ensure that they're gameplay friendly. I mean, I love an aesthetic build. I love a pretty build, but I want my builds to also be functional in case people want to use them for their storytelling. And I love hearing about your sim families and seeing them in screenshots and things in my builds. So definitely keep posting those. If you've got any, you can post them in our Discord, you can share them, you can tag me on your socials if you're using any of my builds. I really love seeing them. So yeah, I want to make sure that they're gameplay friendly and you don't run into any annoying like routing glitches where your Sims can't move around the house, because I personally hate that. If I download something from the gallery, I expect it to be functional. I think I'm pretty much done with the backyard. I might do a little bit more landscaping around the side. I can't remember if I finished the outside first before I move on the interior. But I also wanted to give this house some solar panels because it was starting to get quite big. I was thinking of kind of ways to cut down on bills, try and make them not too expensive. Although when I play the game, I typically use a few mods, and one of my mods allows me to control the amount of bills that my Sims pay, because if you leave it to the game default options, a large house can really rack up some high bills, and it's always a bit of a shock to the system when bill day comes around and you're owing thousands of simoleons every week. So I often adjust those bills to make them not quite so high. But some solar panels on the roof will help your bills stay a little bit more in control. You can add a few more things to sort of combat that, like there's those water savers, and I think there's some other items, especially with eco. If you've got eco lifestyle, there's a few energy saving objects in that pack. I really love using these like I think they're called hollyhocks, the light pink flowers at the front of the house. They are probably maybe my favorite flowers in the game. And I don't use them that much though, but I thought they worked really well here. I really liked the color against the brick and wood tones that I chose for the house. And then also I add a few flower boxes to the front here so that just brightens the exterior of the house up a little bit, and a few on the side and the back of the house. Now I'm moving on to the interior, and I pick out a few wallpaper swatches. I've been really loving using this wallpaper that I've placed in the living room recently, with the wooden paneling across the bottom of it and like just a plain paint. I just feel like it's quite realistic, and I like a good realistic looking family home. So I use the darkish blue in the living room. I use the kind of softer beige in the dining room, and then just picked out some tile for the kitchen, which is one of my favorite tiles. That one we got with Growing Together. I started with pink, the pink swatch, and a pink tile for the floor, which also came from Growing Together. And then I'm pretty sure I changed the swatch out because it was just feeling, with this darker wood on the floor, it was just feeling a bit much. I don't know, just felt too bubblegum to me. Yeah, so I went with something a little bit more subtle. I think maybe the beige in the end, possibly. And then the counters I also switch out. I end up using the Dream Home Decorator counters instead of what I was originally going to go with, which was the Home Chef Hustle counters. No, I lie. I end up using the Parenthood counters, which I always feel work really well in family builds as well. But for the kind of upper cabinets, I think I do settle on the Home Chef Hustle ones. I really like how there's the light coming from the bottom of the cabinets, so I use those for the cabinets, and then Parenthood counters for the main surfaces in the kitchen. The curtains that I'm using, I'm pretty sure those ones came with the Cozy Bistro kit, which was, I think we got it early last year, and it's got some really beautiful pieces. It's sort of modeled on French bistros, but there's some great items in there that can be used in a lot of different builds. I use these curtains quite a bit now. I also love some of the little clutter items that we got. I'm pretty sure we got like an espresso coffee maker with that kit. There's a newish espresso coffee maker, and I think it came with the Cozy Bistro kit, and it's gorgeous and I love it, and I use it quite a lot. And then here I take a little while to figure out how I want these center counters to work, because I really wanted to use the curve, but frustrates me how the counters that have sort of the overhanging lip, they don't fit perfectly with the other ones. So you've often got this annoying kink at the end of the overhang. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you can sort of see it in the footage there, where there's a bit that sticks out on the side where I've placed the stools, and then there's that kind of random corner that pokes out. But in the end, I think I decided while I was building it, I thought it doesn't bother me enough, and I really wanted to make this like a wider kitchen bench, so I put up with it, and it doesn't bother me enough to get rid of it. And then I place a few clutter items in the kitchen, some of my sort of must-use items that you'll see me use a lot. Oh, that's the coffee machine I think that came with Cozy Bistro. I used the aprons that we got in a base game update. I've placed a vacuum here, which obviously if you don't have the Bust the Dust kit, it won't show up, but it's not really that big a deal if it's not there. Bust the Dust, I know, is a kit that is a little bit controversial. I know that some people really get frustrated at the kind of gameplay of it and how it makes your homes dirtier than normal, and it is a bit annoying, but I often play where I've hired a cleaner, so it doesn't bother me too much. I don't really end up having to clean a lot of my houses. And then also I usually work my way up to getting the perk where you have the it's like free services or something, so I'm not even paying for the cleaner. Like in our Legacy family gameplay at the moment, they get a cleaner that comes regularly and we never have to pay for it. It's amazing. I think we've got a cleaner, we've got a gardener, and we've got a live-in butler, and my family doesn't pay for any of them. Not very realistic, but look, they've been saving for 10 generations, so I feel like they deserve it. This area here is the entrance hall, and I wanted to place some items that made it look like quite a busy area. Like this is a busy household. They've got 3 children. I imagined there were 2 parents, but you don't have to play with 2 parents, obviously. And everyone's either off to school or daycare or work every day. So this area here is just a place for them to throw their shoes, chuck their keys, grab their coats, their umbrellas, and then probably a lot of like just household clutter ends up in this space naturally. The school kid probably throws their homework or their bags down. So there's a few surfaces in this area. The hutch that came with Jungle Adventure is here, and I just place a few clutter items. Some of my favorite newer items we got, like this set of board game puzzle things, some Dream Home decorator clutter, and I think I end up putting some kind of plant in the front here. I can't remember. I think, yeah, Blooming Rooms kit plants, maybe. I think they stay. I can't remember what stays and what I swap out. I really love this hutch from Jungle Adventure. In fact, there's quite a few Jungle Adventure pieces that I tend to use quite a lot. They just look quite rustic without being too rustic. They kind of make me feel like they might have been purchased from somewhere like, just sort of a more rustic homeware store that's quite trendy. There's a particular one that's often mentioned in American sitcoms and films, and the name has gone out of my head, but if you're American, you probably know the one I'm talking about. And they have kind of more, it's made to look a bit more rustic furniture and homeware. Next is the living room, which I'm really happy with. It is a bit darker, really cozy. I just wanted it to feel warm and comfortable and inviting, and a little bit more separate to the rest of the house. So it has, the only connection it has is through the dining room, and it's through this this sort of archway, the archway that we got with Growing Together. And with the darker wallpaper, the darker curtains, it feels like a little bit of an escape. Like you'd go here, cozy up, get a blanket, watch a good movie or read a book, while the rest of the house is sort of maybe a bit chaotic. So I love that about this room. I've also placed down a nice cozy fireplace, and bookshelves as well. So there's a few activities in that room that your sim can do. And then adjacent to the living room, there's the dining area, which I also love. I really, really like this house, if you can't tell already. As I'm rewatching the footage, I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking of Sims that I've created that I could move into this house, or just maybe creating a family from scratch that would live here. I've got some sort of gameplay or storylines that are coming to mind as I rewatch my footage. Here are some other items that I used from the Cozy Bistro kit as well. Speaking of that a little bit earlier, this set of kind of shelving, this piece of furniture along the wall here is also Cozy Bistro kit. And so are the nectar bottles that I place as clutter. And then there's a bunch of other clutter as well from other kits and base game. The curtains in this room really surprised me. I would not have thought about using the curtains from high school years, but they just work perfectly. I kind of forgot about that swatch. They bring a bit of pattern and colour into that room because the dining table and chairs are just quite a soft kind of neutral beige. The kind of shelving on the side there is a beige. The rugs are kind of a beige colour. So having that pop in the curtains of colour, I really liked. And I thought those curtains worked really well in that space. Along the wall here, I've got the photo frames that I think also came from Growing Together. So you can place photos that your sim takes in there. There's a mod that I use for some of my save files that is by Ravisheen, and it's like a photographic mod. I think it's called ISO Memory or ISO Photography, ISO, and it allows you to take photos with the camera and tripod without having to have a sim operating them. So you can kind of drag it wherever you want. It's really handy for taking photos of your families where everyone's in the photo and you don't have to have a sim taking the photo. It's so great. Anyway, I would recommend that mod. I will try and remember to link it below. I don't know if I'll remember. I'll try. If you need a link for it, let me know in the comments if I haven't linked it below. But yeah, I use in my legacy save, I use that mod to take photos, and also using like custom poses and things, and I place them in those photo frames, and I just really love the way that they look. They're just a little bit more interesting than the regular photos that you can take in game. Then this space here, there's a little room that's a half bath and laundry together. So there's a toilet downstairs with a sink and then also a washer and dryer. I thought about placing the clothesline out the back as well, but I kind of ran out of space. But that would be quite cute in this house, I think. You could even extend maybe the side fence or something and put it along there. I think this house feels like it might have a clothesline. And then I move upstairs to the bathroom first, which is the main family bathroom, and I went for a bit of a yellow theme in here, if you can't tell already. Very honeycomb, buttery yellow. The counter is from Home Chef Hustle. The tiles on the floor and the walls are the same that I use in the kitchen, so they're growing together. And then the shower tub combo is also a growing together item as well, which I think is probably my favorite shower or bath or shower tub combo that we have in game now. I just find it very hard to not use this one these days because it's so good. And then I move on to, I think, the toddler room next. Must be the toddler room by the looks of the wallpaper that I'm picking out. And I wanted this space to be colourful, full of fun things for your toddlers. I knew going into the build that I wanted to put like 2 toddler beds in one room. Toddler beds are weird in The Sims because they feel so strangely small. Obviously toddlers are small anyway and they don't need beds bigger, but I feel like they sometimes feel too small for a regular sized bedroom. So I often end up putting loads and loads of clutter in a toddler's room just to make the space feel more normal. So here I was like, well, to make the room feel a bit more full, I'm gonna finish it for 2 toddlers, and then it makes a bit more sense that there are so many activities and toys and things and other bits of furniture in this space. Otherwise a single toddler would look incredibly spoiled which, you know, hey, look, maybe maybe that's the vibe you want to go for. But I wanted to do a twin toddler room. I think that would be a lot of chaos in terms of gameplay as well. One toddler is difficult enough to look after, so 2 toddlers, good luck. Then I think I moved to the parents' room after this. I just placed a few more toys and things. We're starting to get some great, well, not starting. I feel like we have got some excellent kids objects, toddlers, infants, and children now. I don't often find myself lacking items to place in young Sims rooms, which is really cool. I think there's a lot of stuff. If you've got quite a few packs, like I do, you're not often, wanting for any objects. I think there's quite a good breadth of items these days, and I feel pretty lucky that we've got such cool items to build with. Next, I move on to the primary bedroom's ensuite. I don't know why I decorated I wanted to get it over and done with, to be honest. I often struggle with bathrooms, not because I find them difficult to build for. It's almost the exact opposite. They're so simple, and I find them a little bit boring, to be honest, because I'm not very creative in the way that I finish them. I've seen other people do amazing things with bathrooms, and I often get to finishing my bathrooms and I go, let's just chuck a toilet, a sink, a shower, call it a day. Bob's your uncle. So sometimes I leave them to the last for the last thing that I do because I'm trying to put them off, and then at other times I want to get them out of the way as soon as possible because they bore me so much. And I think that the latter was true when I was building this place, but I managed to actually really be happy with the I think I've got 3. Well, I've got the toilet downstairs, I've got the family bath upstairs, and then I think I've got 2 ensuites. Yeah, I do. I've got an ensuite for this room here, which is the primary bedroom. And then I've got another ensuite for the room that I finished for a teenager. So there's actually 3.5 bathrooms in this house, which is a lot considering there's 3 bedrooms. So plenty of space. Your Sims shouldn't be blocked if they need to shower or go to the loo. They should be absolutely fine. This room here is the primary bedroom, and again, I'm feeling like a broken record, but I love it. I'm really happy with this room. I went with some darker swatches again in here, kind of similar thought when I did the living room, so I wanted it to feel cozy and a bit of an oasis from the rest of the house. A real real separate vibe where if you're in this room and the door is closed, you can just relax and have a bit of your own space. How you do that as a parent to twin toddlers, I don't know. But this is The Sims, so anything's possible, right? So I went with kind of a green and medium wood tone color scheme in here. I love the bed, which I think came with Growing Together, and I picked out a few other kind of color swatches for items that I thought went well with it. So these dark green curtains that are on the windows, they came from High School Years. I think the wallpaper goes really well in that space as well. So overall, really happy with that room. And then I move on to the ensuite for the teenager. So this teenager, honestly, is like the luckiest teenager ever. You'll see when I get round to finishing the bedroom itself. If I had this room, oh my god, I'd be So happy. I'm quite jealous I never had a room like this as a teenager. It's kind of gamer themed, and I now in thinking about this build, it would have been really cool to have built this after the the comfy gamer kit came out, because obviously we got some really cool gamer inspired pieces in that kit, but I built this a few months ago now, so yeah, we didn't have that kit at that point, but we still have quite a few items. Like the high school years pack had so many cool items for teenagers, and this bathroom here, you can see I've done quite a different way of decorating this to the others. It's got basically the same items in it, so the same furniture, but it is far more cluttered than the other bathrooms. Lots of stuff on the counter there. It's quite messy. You know, this is a teenager space. They don't have time to be cleaning their bathroom. They've got much more exciting things to do, like talk to their friends, play games. Yeah. I also thought this might be like a younger teens room, possibly. So maybe they're sort of 13ish, maybe they're just turned into a teenager. And I loved using this cow print on the wall. It was so fun, and I thought it went really well with the purple. Let me know what you think, but I think the cow print in purple is a real vibe. You can see I also reused the same curtains that I used in the primary room, but I just changed the swatch for this space to make it fit in with the color scheme of the room. This bed was really fun as well to use. It's sort of got these pixel kind of android alien space invader things on it. I've given this some TV with a gaming console, also a computer, some other kind of gaming clutter like the CD-ROMs and the console, what's it called, you know, thing that you hold to play games with, a bunch of other just teen type clutter, so mess, clothing, bags, shoes, books, school stuff. And then I thought, oh, I haven't given them a dresser, so I think I fit a little small dresser in the corner there, just to the left of their desk. And thank goodness for some of the kind of smaller items in this room. This whole build has been play tested, so everything is accessible, or at least it was when I play tested it. So I didn't upload it to the gallery until it was play tested. I haven't had any issues with it, so hopefully you don't either. Or maybe I don't add a dresser in that room, actually. Maybe I don't end up adding a dresser. I can't remember now. It didn't look like it in the footage. Anyway, your sim will be fine either way. This room here, I didn't know what to do with it because I'd already sort of made the decision about who lives in this house, and when I'm building, I often need to sort of picture, they don't need to be fully formed, but I need to have some kind of an idea of the Sims that are living in a house before I can furnish something. So I'd already kind of had this picture in my mind that it was 2 parents, a teen, and 2 toddlers. So when I got to this room, I thought, what am I going to do with it? And I think someone in chat in our community over on stream suggested that I turn it into a hobby room, kind of like a bit of a playroom hobby room. So that's what it is. And then when I'm finished this, it's not long until I get to the screenshots, I believe. This build will be available on the gallery. My EA ID is KiwiSimsKate. So is my social handle across all of my socials. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Blue Sky. So come along, follow me there, and say hi. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care out there. Bye.